Hello, my little mathematicians. Today we're going to review how to write and solve equations in dealing with shapes. Okay, so the first thing is really pay attention to the word sentence and write the equation as you read it. Okay, so let's see. It says the length of a rectangle, so L for length, is, in the math world, means equals 3 times what? Its width. Okay, there we go. Then it says, if the width is 20, what is the length? So here was my equation, okay, L equals 3W. And they told me that W is 20, so I'm going to replace the W with the 20 and then solve for L because they're asking me what is the length. We don't know. Okay, and now just solve it. What's 3 times 20? 60. And my units are centimeters. So the length is 60 centimeters. See if you can go ahead and try and solve the rest of these. Pause the video and then unpause it and come back and check. Okay, so for number 2, it says the length of a rectangle, so L for length, is 4 centimeters longer than. So I'm adding 4 centimeters to what? The width. Okay, so the equation is L equals W plus 4. And then they told me the length is 6. So I'm going to replace the length, or L, with 6. Now to simplify this, how do I isolate the W? Well, it has this plus 4 here. So to get rid of that plus 4, I'm going to subtract 4. And whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down your equals. Those cancel, and now you just have W plus 0, or W. So your width is 2 centimeters. Okay, hopefully you got that right. Okay, if not, you can redeem yourself. Okay, let's try number 3. Number 3 says the length of a rectangle is 5 more than twice its width. Okay, so if this is my equation, and then they told me the width is 4, I'm going to replace the W with the 4. Okay? And then what does that do? Well, I need to simplify this. 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 plus 5 is 13, and so that's 13 inches. And there you go. That's your total equation. The next one says the length of a rectangle is 12 less than. Okay, so you're subtracting 10 from what? 10 less than 4 times its width. Okay, so then that's my equation, and it says the width is 8. So I'm going to replace the W with an 8. And then just go ahead and simplify to find the length. Okay, well, 4 times 8 is 32. And 32 minus 10 is 22. And my units were inches. How are you doing so far? You're doing pretty well? Okay, let's see. The next one. This time, instead of the length, it says the width of a rectangle is 3 more than what? Half of its length. Okay, so you could have written it like that, or this is saying the same thing. Multiplying by a half is the same as dividing it by 2, right? And then you're still adding 3 to it. So 1/2 L, or L divided by 2, potato, potato. However you decided to write it, let's do it this way. So W equals L over 2 plus 3, okay, which is the same as if you had 1/2 times L, whatever. Okay, and then they said the length is 4. So I'm going to replace the L for length with the 4, and now I can solve for my width. Well, 4 divided by 2, or half of 4, is 2, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So you have 5 inches for your width. That one's pretty tough, huh? Okay, speaking of tough, dun dun dun, number 6. The width is 1 less than, so you're subtracting 1, from 4/5 of its length. So remember, fraction followed by the word of something means you're multiplying it. So 4/5 times L. And then they told me that the length is 10. So it's 4/5 times 10 minus 1. Okay, now those 4/5 times 10, these can cross cancel. And 5 can go into 10 twice, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. So now you have 4 times 2, which is 8, and 1 times 1, which is 1. 8 over 1 is just 8. And then bring down that minus 1. Well, 8 minus 1 is 7. So your width is 7 inches. If you didn't like the cross canceling, that looked really confusing to you, then you could have just multiplied across. 4 times 10 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5, and 40 divided by 5 is 8. So that could have simplified to 8, and then 8 minus 1 is still 7 for your width. All right, my little mathematicians, you got this.